The Bible is full of amazing stories, but few are as exciting as the story of Moses. His tale is one of the most compelling narratives in the scriptures, filled with drama, miracles, and profound lessons. Moses' life is a testament to the power of faith and the extraordinary ways in which God can work through individuals to bring about monumental change. From his miraculous birth to his leadership in the Exodus, Moses' story is a journey of transformation and divine intervention. Moses was a leader chosen by God to free his people from slavery. He was not just a leader, but a prophet, a lawgiver, and a mediator between God and the Israelites. His mission was daunting, and his path was fraught with challenges, but his unwavering faith and obedience to God's commands made him one of the most revered figures in religious history. His journey takes us from the Nile River in Egypt to the heights of Mount Sinai. The Nile, a symbol of life and sustenance in Egypt, was where Moses' story began. From there, his path led him through the harsh wilderness, where he encountered God in the burning bush, and received the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai, a sacred place that stands as a testament to his divine mission. It's a story about courage, faith, and God's amazing power. Moses' courage was evident in his confrontations with Pharaoh. His faith was unwavering even in the face of immense adversity, and God's power was displayed through the miracles that accompanied Moses' journey, from the plagues of Egypt to the parting of the Red Sea. Moses' life was in danger from the moment he was born. His mother, in an act of desperation and faith, placed him in a basket and set him afloat on the Nile, hoping to save him from the Pharaoh's decree. This act of love and courage set the stage for Moses' extraordinary life. The Pharaoh of Egypt, a powerful king, had ordered that all baby boys born to the Israelites be thrown into the river. This decree was a result of his fear and paranoia, as he saw the growing number of Israelites as a threat to his rule. The Israelites were enslaved and oppressed, yet their numbers continued to grow, causing the Pharaoh to take drastic measures. Pharaoh feared the growing number of Israelites. He saw them as a potential uprising force that could challenge his authority and disrupt the stability of his kingdom. The Israelites' plight under Pharaoh's rule was severe, marked by harsh labor and brutal treatment. Yet it was in this environment of oppression that Moses would rise as a beacon of hope and deliverance for his people. Despite the Pharaoh's decree, Moses was found by Pharaoh's daughter, who took pity on him and raised him as her own. Growing up in the Egyptian palace, Moses was exposed to the wealth and power of Egypt, but he never forgot his Hebrew roots. As he grew older, he became increasingly aware of the suffering of his people and felt a deep sense of responsibility towards them. One day, while tending to his father-in-law's flock, Moses encountered a burning bush that was not consumed by the flames. This miraculous sight was a divine encounter, where God spoke to Moses and revealed his plan to deliver the Israelites from slavery. God appointed Moses as the leader who would confront Pharaoh and lead his people to freedom. Armed with God's promise and power, Moses returned to Egypt to confront Pharaoh. Despite Pharaoh's stubbornness and the series of devastating plagues that struck Egypt, Moses remained steadfast. Each plague was a demonstration of God's power and a step closer to the liberation of the Israelites. Finally, after the 10th plague, Pharaoh relented, and Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, marking the beginning of their journey to the Promised Land. The climax of Moses' story is the miraculous parting of the Red Sea. As the Israelites fled from the pursuing Egyptian army, God parted the waters, allowing them to cross on dry ground. When the Egyptians followed, the waters returned, engulfing the army and securing the Israelites' escape. This event is a powerful symbol of deliverance and God's protection over his people. After their escape, Moses led the Israelites to Mount Sinai, where he received the 10 Commandments from God. These commandments became the foundation of the Israelites' covenant with God and a cornerstone of moral and ethical conduct for generations to come. Moses' role as a lawgiver solidified his legacy as a pivotal figure in the history of the Israelites and in the broader religious tradition. Moses' journey did not end at Mount Sinai. He continued to lead the Israelites through the desert, guiding them with wisdom and faith. Despite the challenges and the Israelites' occasional lapses in faith, Moses remained a steadfast leader. He established the tabernacle, a portable sanctuary for worship, and prepared the Israelites for their eventual entry into the Promised Land. Although Moses himself would not enter the Promised Land, his leadership and legacy paved the way for the future of the Israelite nation. Moses' mother loved him very much. She hid him in a basket among the reeds by the riverbank, praying someone would find him. And someone did. Pharaoh's own daughter found baby Moses. She took pity on the child and decided to raise him as her own. Moses grew up in the Pharaoh's palace, surrounded by luxury and learning, but he never forgot his true heritage. One day, while tending sheep in the desert, Moses saw an amazing sight, a bush that was on fire but not burning up. As he got closer, he heard God's voice speaking to him from the flames. God told Moses that he had seen the suffering of his people, the Israelites, in Egypt. He chose Moses to lead them out of slavery and into a land flowing with milk and honey, the Promised Land. Moses was afraid at first, but God promised to be with him. Moses went to Pharaoh and told him to let God's people go. But Pharaoh refused, so God sent 10 terrible plagues upon Egypt. The Nile River turned to blood. Frogs hopped everywhere. Locusts covered the land, but Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he still wouldn't let the Israelites go. Section 5. A Sea Wall of Water, the Great Escape. This is a story of faith, courage, and divine intervention. A tale that has been passed down through generations, inspiring countless people with its powerful message of hope and deliverance. Finally, God sent the most terrible plague of all, the death of every firstborn son in Egypt. The night was dark and ominous, filled with the cries of mourning families. The angel of death swept through the land, sparing only those who had marked their doorposts with the blood of a lamb, as instructed by Moses. This final devastating plague broke the will of Pharaoh, who had stubbornly refused to free the Israelites despite the previous 9 plagues that had ravaged his kingdom. After this plague, Pharaoh finally agreed to let the Israelites go. The Israelites, who had been enslaved for generations, gathered their belongings and prepared to leave. They were filled with a mixture of relief and apprehension, unsure of what lay ahead but hopeful for a future free from bondage. Pharaoh's palace, once a symbol of their oppression, now stood as a silent witness to their impending exodus. Moses led his people out of Egypt, but Pharaoh changed his mind and chased after them with his army. As the Israelites journeyed through the desert, they could see the dust clouds of Pharaoh's chariots in the distance, growing closer with each passing moment. Fear gripped their hearts as they realized they were being pursued by the very forces they had just escaped. Moses, however, remained steadfast, urging his people to trust in God's plan and continue their journey towards freedom. Trapped between the army and the Red Sea, the Israelites were terrified. They could see no way out, with the sea before them and Pharaoh's army closing in from behind. Panic spread through the crowd as they cried out to Moses, questioning why they had been brought to such a perilous situation. But Moses, with unwavering faith, reassured them that God would provide a way. But Moses raised his staff, and God parted the waters of the sea. The sight was nothing short of miraculous. The waters stood like walls on either side, creating a dry path through the sea. The Israelites, in awe of this divine intervention, began to cross, their fear slowly giving way to hope. Each step they took on the dry seabed was a step towards their freedom, a testament to their faith and resilience. The Israelites walked across on dry land, and the waters closed back over Pharaoh's pursuing army. As the last of the Israelites reached the other side, the waters of the Red Sea surged back, engulfing Pharaoh's chariots and soldiers. The once terrifying army was now no more, drowned in the very sea that had provided a path to freedom for the Israelites. The people rejoiced, their hearts filled with gratitude and awe at the power of their God. This triumphant escape marked the beginning of their journey to the Promised Land, a journey that would be remembered and celebrated for generations to come. Section 6. Laws on Stone, the 10 Commandments. After their escape, the Israelites journeyed to Mount Sinai. There, God called Moses to the top of the mountain. He gave Moses the 10 Commandments, special laws written on stone tablets. These commandments were rules to live by, to honor God and to treat each other with love and respect. They became the foundation of God's covenant with his people. Section 7. A Legacy of Faith. Moses' enduring impact. Moses led the Israelites for 40 years in the wilderness. He never stopped speaking to God or guiding his people. Though Moses wasn't perfect, he was a man of great faith and courage. He showed us what it means to trust God even in difficult times. Moses wasn't allowed to enter the Promised Land himself, but he saw it from afar. He died knowing that he had obeyed God and that his people were finally free. Section 8. Learning from Moses, Courage, Humility, and Trust. The story of Moses is more than just an ancient tale. It teaches us important lessons about ourselves and our relationship with God. Moses teaches us to have courage even when we are afraid because God is always with us. Moses also teaches us to be humble, to listen to God's voice and to put our trust in His plan. Even when we make mistakes, God can use us for good, just like He used Moses. Section 9: Moses in Art and Culture, a story that endures. Throughout history, people have been inspired by the story of Moses. His tale is one of the most enduring narratives in human history, transcending time, culture, and geography. From ancient times to the modern era, Moses' story has been a source of inspiration and reflection for countless individuals. His journey from a humble beginning to becoming a leader of his people is a testament to faith, perseverance, and divine intervention. We see it depicted in paintings, sculptures, music, and movies. Artists across centuries have found in Moses a subject worthy of their greatest efforts. The Renaissance brought forth masterpieces like Michelangelo's statue of Moses, capturing his intense expression and powerful presence. In music, composers have created symphonies and oratorios that echo the dramatic events of his life. Films like The Ten Commandments have brought his story to life on the big screen, reaching new generations with its timeless message. His story reminds us that God hears the cries of those who suffer. Moses' own life was marked by moments of profound struggle and divine intervention. From his early days as a baby hidden in the bulrushes to his confrontation with Pharaoh, Moses' life is a testament to the power of faith and the importance of standing up for justice. His prayers and pleas to God in times of distress resonate with anyone who has ever faced hardship and sought divine help, and that he can do amazing things when we trust in him. The miracles associated with Moses' life, such as the burning bush and the plagues of Egypt, remind us of the extraordinary ways in which God can intervene in human affairs. These events are not just ancient history, they are powerful symbols of hope and faith that continue to inspire people today. Trusting in God as Moses did can lead to incredible outcomes and transformative experiences. From the parting of the Red Sea, one of the most dramatic and awe-inspiring miracles recorded in the Bible, Moses' leadership and faith were on full display. This event, where the waters were divided to allow the Israelites to escape from the pursuing Egyptian army, is a powerful reminder of God's ability to deliver his people from seemingly insurmountable challenges. The image of Moses standing with his staff commanding the sea to part is etched into the collective memory of humanity. To the giving of the Ten Commandments, which laid the foundation for moral and ethical conduct for millions of people. On Mount Sinai, Moses received the divine laws that would guide the Israelites and influence countless societies throughout history. The Ten Commandments are more than just rules. They are principles that have shaped the moral compass of civilizations. Moses' role as the lawgiver underscores his significance not only as a leader but also as a prophet and teacher. Moses' journey continues to amaze and inspire us. His leadership during the 40 years of wandering in the desert is a story of resilience, faith, and unwavering commitment to his people. Despite the many challenges and setbacks, Moses remained steadfast in his mission to lead the Israelites to the Promised Land. His journey is a powerful metaphor for the spiritual and physical journeys that we all undertake in our lives, reminding us that perseverance and faith can lead us to our own promised lands. It shows us that with God, all things are possible. Moses' life is a testament to the power of faith and the possibilities that open up when we trust in a higher power. His story encourages us to believe in the extraordinary, to have faith in the face of adversity, and to trust that with God's guidance, we can overcome any obstacle. The enduring legacy of Moses is a beacon of hope and inspiration, reminding us that no matter the challenges we face, with faith, we can achieve the impossible. Section 10, Your Journey of Faith. Finding inspiration in Moses' story. Like Moses, we each have our own journeys of faith. There will be mountains to climb and seas to cross. But Moses' story reminds us that we are not alone. God is with us, guiding and protecting us every step of the way. As you learn about Moses, remember that his story is your story too, a story of faith, courage, and God's unending love.